she says the world's splitting. It's not like there's going to be an earth here and an earth here. It's the dimension, the different dimensions that we're in. But there will be another version of just like you on the ascension part in the other dimensions, because it's almost like this would be like a hologram here for people to see. And you will, as you are able to connect with him, he says others can connect with me. He says, I'm not limited to just my mom or other family members, whoever wants to connect with me. He says, people do connect with me, but they call me a different name.
What do they call him?
He said some people refer to him as some type of angelic energy. Some people referred to him as some type of God, being a philosopher, and in other lifetimes where he was extracting information from the source and presenting it. But the way he was...
Hi, this is Akanksshaa. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you resonate with me, please like, comment, and share. Welcome to Multidimensional Soul Podcast and a Talk Show. On this show, we talk about deep spiritual and mystical experiences of people which we normally shy away talking about. We are more than our physical body. We are spiritual beings on a human journey. And we discuss how a soul exists on multiple dimensions. We discuss science, technology, and spirituality point of views and perspectives on this show. Our purpose is to open our minds to limitless possibilities and our hearts to love and shine the light within bright. We have with us today Denise Ramon, who is a spiritual healer, medium, and a channeler from US. A very warm welcome, Denise, on the Multidimensional Soul Talk Show and a podcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here. I so appreciate it. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Welcome to this episode of Denise Ramon, where she has channeled Dolores Cannon, Erik, and Arnav. If you have not watched part 1 of this conversation, I highly recommend that you watch it. Denise had talked about her own spiritual journey, how God talked to her, how she remembered her past life memories where she was a Jew in World War II in Germany, how to connect with spirit guides. She channeled my son Arnav, and then Arnav guided us through how the rise of artificial intelligence is going to impact spirituality, what is different between Atlantis versus now, how can we integrate science and spirituality, and how can we use technology for spiritual growth, how East meets West in spirituality, not to kind of hang on to dogmatic ideas. And he talked about his learning in other dimensions from other masters, mentors, and he also talked about parallel universes which he has experienced. So, a lot to unpack over there. Do watch that, and I hope you enjoy this conversation as well. Arnav has had this innate thirst for knowledge, and even I am like that. I think it's the quality of our soul, and he loved connecting with different people and doing a lot of research, and he was fascinated by Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, and I had given him brief history of time, so Stephen Hawking, and he was also fascinated by all the philosophers and spiritual leaders. So what can he talk about, what all mentors he has met in the other realm, and what has he learned so far?
Well, I feel like he's joking, but he says, no, what have I taught them? He says, but he's joking. But he's just playful when he does this. I feel like he's kind of a jokester, like he liked to kid around and stuff, but it's apparent that he was very intelligent on so many levels, but not intelligent to where he was socially awkward. He's very warm and loving, he's showing me. But he was and he is a philosopher in other lifetimes, but not like, I feel like it's a little bit his philosophy, but he was his being a philosopher and in other lifetimes where he was extracting information from the source and presenting it. But the way he was presenting it was giving people the option to choose. Again, he's given me that buffet. He would give a plate full of information and you picked what you wanted. He's not one to force it like this is the one way. He goes, because that's preaching. And he says the reason why he was so connected to Tesla and Einstein, and she says, because he was connected to that energy. You know, they were helping him along the way. I don't think he really understood that to that degree, but he does know now. And this is what we do is we keep building off of people and connecting. And he says some of the people that weren't labeled as philosophers or geniuses are what's hiding in front of us in plain sight, and we ignore them. And he's talking about people who come here with birth defects, like with Down syndrome. He says, we think that they're stupid and they don't know nothing. He goes, they're highly evolved beings, souls. They're very intelligent. We could learn from them. They teach us. He says, they have no enemy. They only have friends. If they meet you once, you're their friend. They don't do what we do, like, oh, you don't look cute enough, so we don't want to be your friend. He says, there's so many other intelligent people here and people that come here that are severely deformed. These are old souls. These are people here to teach us stuff, but we don't see it as that. We don't have time for them and stuff. And he says, our elders, we chalk them off as being dumb. They don't know. They're not with the times. He goes, those are teachers for us. And he said, we need to start using them. So who does he, I feel like, he made his rounds to all the ancient ones on the other side that have been here for millions of years that he's talked to, in all different cultures that he's gone to all of these people. He says, here we don't view them as that they're better than us. We just go to the source of where our next journey is, so to speak, because everybody shares what they have. Everybody shares, and it's when we're ready, then then we know where to go. He says so. Yeah, he loves that, and he says there's a lot more people connecting with these highly evolved souls, and he says that this is part of the reason why he needed to transition was because it was too dense here for his energy, but he needed your DNA. He needed that.
He's still a part of me. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. We're never not apart. We're never not apart. It's this guy that I channel, Erik. He says that what he misses the most is the physicalness of being able to eat a brownie or drink a beer. And I said, that's so funny you say that, because that's what we miss most is the physicalness of not being able to touch you anymore. And so he says, this is where we need to be more conscious of, like when we're washing our hands, feel the water, feel whatever it is, not just like, oh, it's nothing, just like be conscious of what you're doing. And this is what I feel like your son, he's getting to tap into all aspects of his being. And as he's tapped into it, that just sprinkles down to us. Because it's not just for him, because we're all connected. And when we are ready, yet what he is giving us, it's not when we're ready, it's when we are conscious or acknowledging whatever, how he, like when we're on a vibrational match, then all of that stuff just comes to us. And you will, as you are able to connect with him, he says, others can connect with me. He says, I'm not limited to just my mom. or other family members, whoever wants to connect with me. He says people do connect with me, but they call me a different name.
What do they call him?
He said some people refer to him as some type of angelic energy. Some people refer to him as some type of God. He says, it just depends on where they are. But he says other people tap into him, he says, because of who he is, because he knows who he is.
Yes. Yes.
He knows who he is. And that's what we're learning to know who we really are.
Yes, that's the entire journey, and that's what I wanted to know from Arnav is what is the best way to remember our highest self, who we are at the highest self level.
He says, go sit out in nature. Just look at nature, look around. He says, hug a tree, go swim in the water. He says, water's really good to get into that. He says, stop looking on the outside. Stop thinking you have to have things to make you amazing, and start questioning why you think you need that to be handsome, good looking, beautiful, pretty. Start questioning why you think you need that, and ask yourself, why do I think that? Where are those thoughts coming from? He says, because they're not coming from you. They're coming from a belief system that you've collected. And as he's saying that, it's like, it's not something you can say, oh, okay, now I know. I think he says it's a process, because you've got layers and layers and layers of stories that you've attached to that are not true. And he says, and research what other cultures have done to find self. Many cultures have different ways, and it's usually all of them are about going and spending alone time with self, away from the city, going in nature, he says. But we're so caught up in modern day conveniences that to sit out on the grass in the sun would be too hot for us. But that is where we receive so much. He says that's how we get realigned, balanced. He says, go hug a tree, go swim in the ocean, go swim in the lake, go sit in a quiet room, turn the TV off, eat food that's alive instead of cooked to death, he says. He loves fruit. I don't know how he was when he was here, but he's showing me he loves fruit. Mainly, I feel like oranges. He loves the sweetness that it gives us. The fruit. There's a reason why fruit is sweet. It's to give us sweetness. And he said there's so many ways. There's no one correct way. There's many ways, he says. Find yours. He's such a kind, he's just got so much warmth around him. It's amazing.
Yeah. He's like huge love and light energy.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. Very, very large. Very,
Very large, yeah.
yeah, very expansive. I don't think our human brain can really comprehend the expansion. I always say he's huge, but I don't mean weight. It's just the energy, the space that he holds.
Yeah. And what can people do to align with the highest vibration timeline all the time?
What he says is, take 5 minutes out in the morning, if that's all you can take. Take 5 minutes out in the morning to kind of like, if you're not into meditation or whatever, that's fine. He says, but take 5 minutes out and write a list of some things you would like, how you want your day to be. He says, most people wake up and think, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. And he says, nobody sets out an agenda of how they want their day to be. And he says, take 5 minutes out to do that. Or take 5 minutes out longer in the shower, he says. But make a list, a few things of how you want your day to be. Start looking at what it is you want and saying, I'm going to take this today. I'm going to have a nice drive to work, or I'm going to have a nice lunch today, or I'm going to have a nice conversation today. Start picking what it is you want and bringing that into you. He says, these are like little nibbles that you can start doing. He says, and then if that is like, oh, that's nothing, then start out doing other things. Practice yoga. Yoga is so good. It's a movement of energy. He says, there's a reason why yoga was created. It's to move energy. There's others. He's showing me how Tai Chi, it's about moving energy. He says, this is why people exercise, because it feels good, but we've tied it into, you got to look cute and you have to exercise to look cute. He says, do something that's been around forever. He says, like Tai Chi, it's not about, he says, that's for all ages. It's not just for people who are up there in ages. He says, because you really have to focus, you have to concentrate, you have to be intentional with what you're doing, and you'll be able to start feeling the energy. He says, in yoga, it's about moving that energy, getting that flow going, stretching, he says, do something like that. And it's so funny he's saying that. You would think that somebody is holding a gun to my head when it's time for me to go stretch. I don't know what it is about stretching. I just like, oh God, I got to go stretch. And it's the most simplest thing to do. And it's free. It's free. And he's telling me it's because there's expansion going on and my humanness is resisting the expansion. So this is where you just plow through it and go, I'm going to do this for me because it's good. He says, and this helps you to plow through and move through your expansion, because our ego doesn't want it. Our ego wants to keep us down. And he says, we can all master our ego. We don't want to give it away. It's almost like he says, as people have said, we want to sit next to it at the dinner table. We don't want it to be away from us, because it is good for us. It helps us with things, but we can master our ego. And he says, this is what we're all learning.
And any message you have for our audience of this podcast?
The message is that it's within you. It's within you. It just is. And as bizarre and crazy as it may sound to some, the answers are within us. And when we're ready to know more than what we know, your team, Source, God, Jesus, whatever you choose to call it, will bring this to you. And they bring it in forms of music, animals, you'll find things, whatever, it's not limited to one thing. Pay attention to those coincidences and know that this is your team, your God, your source, your Allah, whatever you want to call it. This is how to get your attention so that you can know that you are so much more than who you think you are, and how powerful we are. We're powerful creators. Your son says we could create universes if we knew that. And he means that literally. If we really believed that and knew that, we could do that. So he says, create what it is you want by only looking at what you want. And I know that to be true. I do. Do I do it all the time? No. But I really tried to listen to my words and being careful about the type of words that I'm using, because it's the frequency of the word that gets us.
Can we channel Dolores Cannon?
Absolutely. She's been waiting. Yeah, she's here. She doesn't feel very chatty Cathy to me, as we say, but she's here. She's here to give some words, she said. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Dolores's work has been very, very visionary. She was way ahead of everybody, I think. What can she talk about the split of the earth in Ascension? She talked about it quite some time back that our earth is going to split when we move into higher dimension, and 3D earth is going to be different than 5D earth. So not everybody has chosen to ascend. So what can she tell about that?
It's like I can hear her voice. She says, it's necessary what is happening. She says it's necessary. And it's not a bad thing that people are not going to ascend, and we got some here that won't and some that will. She says, because we need the ones that don't ascend, we need them here to help finish up what isn't completed. She says, because it doesn't get completed in a few 100,000 years. It's there's more to it than what we can comprehend, she's saying. So she says the world's splitting. It's not like there's going to be an earth here and an earth here. It's the dimension, the different dimensions that we're in. And when we go to the higher dimensions, we're going to have more expansion and see more of Mother Earth. We're going to have more privileges, in a sense, of Mother Earth. Right now, we're like only in a little spot of Mother Earth, because how she's saying Mother Earth and other beings knew that we had to be not given so much space to work with, to see how we could handle it, to see how we would acclimate to this. But she says, this is a good time that we're here. And she goes, and with technology, we're learning even more quicker because of technology. And she says, it's because everybody's hearing about it. She goes, look at we're all together now because of technology. And so she says, this is a good time to be here. And as more souls leave the planet to be of more service, more souls are coming in to help out. But the souls that are coming in, I feel, are like of a different caliber to help us to ascend.
What will be the role of Earth when we ascend, and how are we going to interact with other planets or other systems? Will we be able to do interdimensional travel and travel to other planets and other constellations or solar systems?
She said yes, but not for several hundred years down. But she says, but we do that while we're sleeping, we're astral traveling. But to be conscious of it and going, she says, there's a few people here now that can do that, very few. And I feel like probably less than a couple thousand, very few that can do it now. But what's going to happen, needs to happen first is that a good portion of us will become more aware that we're doing this traveling to other places. And as we become more comfortable and more familiar with this, then we're going to know how to understand and respect boundaries. And so we don't think we can connive people out of something or betray people or something. It's the respect. It's when we show that we have the ultimate respect for one another that we will start to be able to do it while we're awake through the astral travel. Right now, she says we're not mature enough to do that because we would try to manipulate it, and like we do with everything.
So, when we are ascending, are we going to ascend with our physical bodies? Because what I understand from some people is that our DNA is going to change from 2-strand to 12-strand DNA, and we're going to have crystalline bodies, and the chemical composition is going to change. So, what's Dolores' understanding about that?
She says, well, a lot of us get caught up that we're going to lose, or some of our family members are going to stay behind because they're not as awake as we say as we are, she says. And that's not going to happen. It's not like she says, you two aren't going to go to the other planet and leave your siblings or family members behind. That's not what happens. And then you're like missing your family members and you're sad because they got left behind. That's not how it is. I feel like how she's showing me, and this is interesting, it's like she's saying, so the two of you will stay here, when you ascend, you're still going to stay here. A part of you is going to stay here, but then there's another part of you that's going to be ascended. And then when this body transitions, then that part goes with that body right there. And there's going to be a part of you here that's going to know that there's another part of you somewhere else. So you're going to be able to tap into that and help spread that wisdom before you transition so that you can help others here in their journey, just like others have helped you in your journey. So that's fascinating. So there's like a fourth of us still here, or the other 3/4 of us is in the ascension. And then we'll catch up with them when it's time for us to transition. And she also says that we will be able to, not all, but a good portion of us, when that happens, we're going to be able to determine when it's our time to transition. So we won't have to have all these illnesses to kill us, as she says. We can just go lay down somewhere and then say, okay, I'm ready. Like it was millions of years ago. We knew when it was our time to transition, to ascend, so we would just go off somewhere. And she says some cultures around here still practice that. Very few, but some still practice that when they know it's their time to transition. They don't have to get sick or hit by a car or drown or whatever.
Interesting. But
that is.
Yeah, but that means that this body, this particular vessel will not go in ascension.
Correct. But there will be another version of just like you on the ascension part in the other dimensions, because it's almost like this would be like a hologram here for people to see. It's like this, like when so where you are now, this will be like a hologram people are seeing. She says it's not an actual hologram, but it is like a hologram, and then the other you will be there. And she says there are some that are experiencing that now.
Yeah, because I have experienced that. But
Wow.
What I understood from a few people who came on my show is, for example, Venusians have this technology where their body kind of stays. So after every 100 years or so, they renew it and they stay the same. They look like 20-year-old. After every 100 years, they do that kind of. So I think Elon Musk is also coming up with some cryogenic chambers or some kind of technology where the bodies also will be preserved and we will be able to ascend along with body. Physical body is something that I had understood earlier.
Yeah, and she's saying what he's doing is he's stirring up our thoughts so we can get thinking in that direction.
And is she going to have another incarnation on Earth, or that's not going to happen?
She doesn't answer, so usually when they don't answer, it's because it's not for us to know. But what I get from her is that her incarnating, as we call it, is not over. She says, what fun would that be if we stopped incarnating? She goes, everybody that says they're not coming back, she says, they don't know what they're talking about. She goes, it's a privilege, it's a joy to incarnate. The reason why they don't want to come back is because they haven't mastered or tapped in to who they really are. They're more tapped into what they don't want, what they don't like, and playing the victim and the poor me's. And she says, and that's okay that they're there, but they'll want to tap into their authentic self. She goes, it's fun. She goes, this is what I've taught for years, is how to tap into our authentic self. And the way she's showing me, she stumbled into this and She said, but that's how it was supposed to happen. Because if she didn't stumble into it, she would have been afraid of it.
Okay. And what message does Dolores have for our audience today?
Don't believe everything you see. That's what she said. Don't believe everything you see.
Okay. And we also have Erik here, and you've been channeling Erik for quite a few years. And I know he is with us now. Does Erik have any message for us today?
You know, he says read my book. Is what he says, but he also wants to tell you that, and I feel like you know this, but he said that you're going to be writing books.
Yes.
That's what he's telling me.
I know that. I wrote already one book in 2023 with downloads from Arnav, but I want to master channeling and astral travel.
You
so
will. You will. Yeah, because he's showing me books. It's not just a book, it's books. And he's saying, and you will, he says, don't worry about mastering it. Just know that you're doing it. He says, we never really master anything. Because once we master this level, then there's more and more and more. So he says, don't worry about mastering it. He says, you're already doing it. And your son he just swarms you with his energy and that's how he hugs you. It's just swarming you. He says, yes, he says, when you feel warmth around you, that is him. That is him. He says he's in everything and anything that you love. He's there. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And does your team have any specific messages that they want to share?
What they keep telling me, and what I hear them saying is utilize this time to see the goodness in you, and don't discount anything that you do that's of goodness, because as you start acknowledging the goodness within you, you're able to see it more and more on the outside of you. Watch your words. And as I say that, it dawned on me just the other day. I would say to my partner and others, like, I just got real lazy when I moved. I don't know. I just don't want to do anything. And it's not that. And they said the other day, you're not lazy. Watch your words. Notice how that feels when you say you're lazy. The energy, the frequency lowers. It's very shaming. It's not that you're lazy. You just don't feel like doing it. So what? Acknowledging that you don't feel like doing it is much different. It's a higher vibration than saying you're lazy. It has nothing to do with lazy. So they say, watch your words that you use. And I say that, watch our words. They're so powerful.
Yeah, that's why they're called spells.
Yeah.
It's like casting a spell.
Yeah, spelling bee. Why we have these spellings with spelling bee. People don't realize that. That is so true. It is. Our words carry a frequency, and that frequency is what we start feeling and attach to it.
Right. What I understand, and this is an open question, either you can channel the source or your team or Arnav or Erik or Dolores, but there is a lot of disruption that is going to be there in 2025, is what I understand. A lot of natural calamities, also a lot of biological hazards, like how it was in COVID 19 and 20. And there is a disruption that is predicted in the economies of the world, especially in the US and across the world. So, what can we do to sail through this? What guidance do they have for us?
And they're all saying it together. So it's like this big space like this, they're all talking into it, and it just comes down into one. That's how it's being said, is don't get caught up in the fear. Don't listen to everything. There's nothing wrong with having awareness and preparation, but this is where it's real important to monitor your thoughts, the awareness that it's there, and you can send it light, love, whatever you want to send it. You can pick a flower for it, and say this is in honor of this, or however they're saying, make it simple so we don't complicate things in our thoughts, and keep your focus on you. Like, today you're safe. Today you have a roof over your head. Today you have food. Keep yourself in the now, because when you get even a week or 2 weeks out there, that's what creates all the fear, and it encompasses you. It's like fog. You can't see past it. So stay in the now, because what wasted time and space worrying about something that's going to happen a month from now, and you end up dying. So you missed a whole month of joy and fun and everything. And that is one of the regrets, if you want to call it a regret, as we call it here, a regret, that we see when we transition. I see where I missed opportunities to have more fun. And it doesn't mean you have to be going on vacations and buy it. The fun is within you, like buying a coloring book from the dollar store, as Erik always tells me to tell people, doing something that's inside, learning how to cook more authentic food instead of prepackaged foods. Just tap into your creativity. Don't look of what other people are painting the picture to be, because you don't have to suffer if you don't want to.
Wow, very powerful. I have a few questions which I ask all my guests, like a rapid fire, quick questions. So can I ask you those?
Okay, yeah.
If you were to explain multidimensional soul to a layperson, how would you explain it?
One, right away I heard is, it's like multitask, as people say, but we're just in multiple different places, having different thoughts that that filter down into where you are right now.
Okay. What is holistic well-being according to you?
To me, the well-being, the holistic well-being is being in touch, just being in touch with my heart, being in touch with my heart.
What is love?
Everything.
What is self-love?
Knowing.
What is the ultimate purpose of life?
Expansion.
And what is your parting message for our audience today?
That we are enough. There's nothing we need to do to prove that we're enough. We're already enough. And we do matter.
Okay. And how can people connect with you?
My website is Denise, Denise, Ramon, RAMON.com.
We'll give all the details in the video description. It's been such a pleasure having you here on my show, Denise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been an absolute joy for me. Thank you. And they're all saying thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say thank you, Source. Thank you, Arnav. Thank you, Erik. Thank you, Dolores. And thank you, Denise's team and my team. For all of you, so grateful for your presence and assistance. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening in wherever you are in the world. As Ramdas says, that we all are just walking each other home. So thank you for co-creating the new earth along with me and our guests. And if you resonate with me, do subscribe to my channel and do let us know how you find our episodes. Thank you so much. Lots of love.